This is Chris Medeiros. Like, subscribe to AEW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris Medeiros, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. It'll all be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my AEW Dynamite October 26, 2022 reviews. So here we go, discussing about Dynamite. Now, there is something I got to discuss about after the match, which is pretty interesting to talk about. But before that, let's go ahead and talk about the match now. We kick off the first match of the night. It was Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. William Regal was on commentary. The Blackpool Combat Club versus the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho and the Ring of Honor Pure Champion Daniel Garcia with Jake Hager, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, the Jericho Appreciation Society. So it was a tag team match, and this match, it was a pretty good match. It was going back and forth and everything. At one point, Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta was going at it and stuff, and then we see Jericho almost picking up the win, where he hit the code breaker onto Claudio when he springboard off that second rope, try to hit that uppercut. He got caught with the code breaker, but he kicked out at 2. And then at the ending, we see Claudio grab Jericho, hitting the swing on him. And then while that was happening, Daniel Garcia jumps on his shoulders, and he got hit with the airplane spin at the same exact time, which was pretty cool, showing off Claudio's strength, which was pretty good. And then Claudio drops both of them, and then Jake Hager gets on the apron. He knocks him off the apron, goes out there outside the ring, taking out Matt Menard and Angelo Parker and Daniel Garcia as well. And then he climbs up the top turnbuckle, jumps off with the uppercut onto Jericho, and then hits him with a neutralizer, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Claudio Castagnoli and Will Yuta defeated Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia tonight in the tag team match. That's what happened. Pretty good match to kick off Dynamite. I'll give that match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good tag team match. But then, after the match ended, we see Renee Paquette interviewing Bryan Danielson backstage, talking about how do you feel about what's been going on with Wheeler Yuta and the Jericho Appreciation Society and all that stuff. And Bryan Danielson was talking about how he's been feeling very frustrated, about Jericho, keep on doing his crap, frustrated about Daniel Garcia for hitting him in the back of the head with the title, feeling frustrated about Willie Yuta talking back to him and all that, and he was somehow he's going to beat the hell out of Sammy Guevara tonight and all that stuff. But then while he's still talking, Willie Yuta gets in his face, and then both of them starts going at it, just talking so much crap to each other. And then Claudio had get in between them and to separate them. He says, look, me and Willard did damn good out there winning our match, and Brian, I know you're going to win your match too. But then after the match, we'll all sit down and talk like adults. So yeah, that's what Claudio said to Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good interview and stuff. But yeah, Sammy Guevara versus Bryan Danielson later on tonight. Not only that, we'll see MJF tonight on Dynamite as well. So yeah, many more stuff. But then after that, we see like a video package getting played, and we see the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and stuff winning the trios tag titles and returning, and Omega winning the world championship and stuff. And it was just like them getting erased from history. Like all of a sudden you see them, and then all of a sudden they're fading away and stuff in a way. So yeah, pretty interesting to see. Now I have no doubt that they're going to obviously return, because they never got fired. I don't even think CM Punk has got fired, if I'm not mistaken. From the rumors, I don't know. But yeah, the Elite, they're going to be returning and stuff. It's just acting like they're fading away from history. But yeah, that's what was interesting. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite. Now, before I talk about the tag team match, we gotta talk about one of the interviews backstage, where we see the Jericho Appreciation Society get interviewed backstage by Tony Schiavone. And Schiavone was asking them about how they feel about losing tonight and stuff, and Sammy Guevara in his match tonight against Bryan Danielson. And, Jericho and Daniel Garcia was not happy about losing to Claudio and Will Yuta tonight. That's what he was saying. And he's saying that Sammy Guevara will beat Bryan Danielson's ass tonight in the main event. So yeah, that's what the Jericho Appreciation Society said. But then we get to the next match. It was Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Swerve in Our Glory in a number one contenders tag team match winner. This match faces the Acclaim for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and we see the Acclaim watching this match from up the ramp and stuff, and we see the Gun Club actually in the crowd, Austin and Colton Gunn. Now, they was like pretty much dressed up in disguises, which was pretty funny and stuff, but yeah. In this match, it was a really good match. It was back and forth and everything. A few times you'd be thinking that FTR was going to win, and same for Swerve and Our Glory. I'm glad that FTR is finally wrestling on AEW. Like, I don't know why the hell they haven't, but they are finally wrestling on the freaking show. You know, FTR is literally one of the best tag teams in the world today, and yet they ain't got them on the shows half of the time, which is so stupid, you know. But yeah, at one point in this match, we see Dax hitting a superplex onto Keith Lee, and then Cash Wheeler jumping off the top turnbuckle with a splash, and he almost get the 3 count, but Keith Lee barely kicking out at 2. And then at one point, we see FTR keep on trying to hit the big rig onto Keith Lee, and Keith Lee's just too heavy for him to hit him on. But then they finally managed to hit the big rig on Keith Lee. Dax was Dax was the one pinning him 1, 2 until Swerve Strickland pulled him off and stuff, breaking up the pin. And then he gets in the ring, he throws Cash Wheeler out of the ring, and then that's when the Gun Club pretty much was holding Cash Wheeler, and then we see Swerve Strickland holding on to Dax at the ropes and stuff, and then Keith Lee was trying to hit him, but Dax moves out the way, and Keith Lee accidentally knocks Swerve off the apron, and then that's when Dax was trying to roll him up for the 3 count, but Keith Lee kicking out at 2. And then when he kicked out, Dax pretty much went going to the ropes and stuff, but then he gets hit with a low blow by Swerve. And then Keith Lee picks him up on his shoulders, hitting his finish move onto Dax, and then pins him for the 3 count. So yeah, Swerve and Our Glory defeated FTR tonight in the tag team match, and they are the number 1 contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. So yeah, they'll be taking on the Acclaim for the 3rd time again soon. So yeah, that's what happened there. Really good match. I'll give that match 3.5 stars. But yeah, after the match ended, we see the Gun Club attacking FTR and stuff, beating them down, and then we see the Acclaim running down, making the save. So yeah, that's what happened. The Gun Club quickly ran out of the ring and stuff. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, really good match between FTR and Swerve and Our Glory. Like I said, I give that match 3.5 stars. But then, after that match ends, we see Renee Paquette interviewing Saraya backstage, and they were somehow happy they are to see each other at AEW. And then we see Britt Baker come up, and Saraya and Britt Baker starts arguing, and that was it. So yeah, that's what happened there. But yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite now, we see Renee Paquette on the stage and stuff, and then she introduces her guest, MJF. And obviously, you already know what's about to happen because, you know, MJF is taking on Jon Moxley at Full Gear, and Moxley and Renee is married and all that stuff, so you kind of figure that MJF was going to say some stuff. Now, he never really actually went into that kind of, but you know, MJF did, you know, said some wild stuff. It was kind of funny. Not even gonna lie. So yeah, MJF is, you know, the crowd and stuff. He's just, you know, in the good mood and stuff. And he says with Renee, with all due respect and all that stuff. And then he starts talking at the like Jon Moxley, talking about, I'm gonna gargle your piss and all that stuff, just stuff like that. And then Renee was like, you can't be saying with all due respect if you don't even respect. And then he says, well, with all due respect, shut your mouth. So yeah, that was pretty funny right there. And MJF is just going off and stuff, talking about how he's going to beat Jon Moxley at Full Gear and then become the world heavyweight champion. And he starts talking about William Regal, about the brass knuckles and stuff, and how William Regal thinks he can't use the dynamite ring and thinks he can't win all by himself and all that. But then also he gets interrupted by Stokely Hathaway. Stokely gets in the ring and he gets over there to MJF and he interrupts him and all that. And MJF was like, well, interrupt me one more time and you ain't going to like what's going to happen. But I'm just going to tell you this right now. Now, like I said last week, this will be your final chance. And if you interfere in Jon Moxley's match later on tonight or do anything to him or even look at him, you're fired. And Stokely pretty much got the message, and then he walks away. So yeah, that's what MJF said to Stokely Hathaway, sent him a message, as well as with Jon Moxley. So yeah, pretty good stuff right there. MJF doing pretty good on the mic. So yeah. But up next, we'll be seeing Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara one-on-one up next on Dynamite. And later on tonight, we will see Jon Moxley versus Penta Oscuro tonight in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on Dynamite. So the next thing that happened on Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was Bryan Danielson versus Sammy Guevara with Ty Mello at ringside. William Regal was on commentary for this match. And this match, it was a pretty good one. And boy, Bryan Danielson was dominating this pretty much majority of the match. He had majority of the offense in this match and stuff. Sammy Guevara was getting his ass whooped a lot of times in this match. Now, Sammy did get some offense in this match as well. But Bryan Danielson was like on a whole nother level, you know. At one point, he locked on the lapel lock, and Guevara quickly grabbing the ropes and stuff. And at the ending, we see Bryan Danielson hitting the Poison Rana onto Sammy Guevara, and then he hits the Psycho knee onto him, turning him inside out pretty much. And then he locks on that triangle chokehold while laying in some elbows, making Sammy Guevara pass out. So yeah, Bryan Danielson defeated Sammy Guevara tonight on Dynamite. That's what happened. Pretty good matchup. If you have yet, go check it out for that match. I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. It was a pretty good match between those two guys. But yeah, Bryan Danielson just pretty much just dominated that match, really. So yeah, but really good stuff, you know. But then after that, we see Renee Paquette interviewing Rey Fenix and Alex backstage, and Rey Fenix was talking about how he needs to go after the All-Atlantic Championship, just like how Penta's going after the world title. And then he gets interrupted by Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, and Christian Cage was like, hold up, you lost to Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus defeated Jungle Boy, so Luchasaurus should go for the All-Atlantic Championship. And all of them is arguing, and then we see Orange Cassidy come up and he says, well, let's go next week then, both of y'all. So yeah, and then the match was made. But yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff though. But yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on AEW Dynamite. See you guys later until then. So the next thing that happened on AEW Dynamite, it was a one-on-one match. It was Riho versus Jamie Hayter with Britt Baker and Rebel at ringside, and it was an okay match between these two women. At one point, Riho was trying to win the match a few times, where she hit that code red, she hit the code red onto her, and then almost got the 3 count, but Jamie barely kicking out at 2. And multiple times we see Britt Baker and Rebel interfering multiple times in this match, and then at the ending, we see Jamie Hayter hit her finish move, that spinning lariat, onto Riho, and then pins her for the 3 count. So yeah, Jamie Hayter defeated Riho tonight in a one-on-one match. That's what happened. It was an okay match. For that match, I'll give it 2 stars. That's what I'll give it. But then after the match ended, we see Britt Baker and all them celebrating in the ring, and then we see the interim AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm, come walking out. She's on the stage holding up the Women's Championship. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff. But then, after that match and all that stuff, we get to Renee Paquette. She's interviewing Eddie Kingston, and then she was like, well, we've been wondering what's been going on with him. He's been having a smile and stuff on his face, but then he says, let's talk about Moxley instead of me. And then she was talking about Moxley and all that for the world title. He says, yeah, I think Jon Moxley's going to win, but he's going to have a tough challenge tonight. Now, let's cut it now. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff. But then after that, we see Darby Allin, pretty much like with this video packaging. He was explaining why Sting hasn't been around and stuff. He says he's been wanting to do this all along. How Jay Lethal says that he got a friend that knows my weakness, and he says, well, he knows his weakness too. He says tells his friend to come to Dynamite next week. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then we see Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh backstage, and Jay Lethal says that he will take on Darby Allin next week and beat him. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then they announced stuff for next week, like Billy Gunn's birthday bash or whatever will be happening next week with the Acclaimed, and then we'll be seeing Orange Cassidy defending the AEW All-Atlantic Championship next week against Luchasaurus and Rey Fenix in the triple threat match. That match will probably be really good. So yeah, some of those matches happening next week. But up next will be the main event. It will be the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley versus Penta El Zero Penta Oscuro up next. So yeah, for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, that match will be happening up next. So yeah, see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on AEW Dynamite, it was a main event. It was the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley versus Penta El Cedro Miedo. So yeah, it was for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and it was a pretty good match. It was a back and forth one. At one point, we see Moxley hit DDT onto Penta on the steel steps, laying him out at one point, and he hit that vicious lariat onto him, almost getting the 3 count, but Penta barely kicking out at 2. At one point, Penta was fighting back, and he hit that package power driver onto Jon Moxley, and then Moxley barely kicking out at 2 as well. And then Penta was taking control of this match a little bit, doing his hand signs to Jon Moxley, and then he springboard off that second rope, getting kicked in the stomach on the way down from Jon, and then Jon hits that, the paradigm shift onto him, and then lifts him back up again, hits a second one onto him, and then pins him for the 3 count. So yeah, Jon Moxley defeated Penta El Cedro Miedo tonight in a one-on-one match. It has retained the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. That's what happened. Pretty good match. If you have yet, go check it out. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars as well. I'll give it really good main event. But I'll talk about my issues at the end. And then after the match ended, we see the Firm come up and attack Jon Moxley. All of them: Stokely Hathaway, W. Morrissey, the Gun Club, Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, I think it was, and yeah, they was just all beating down stuff, beating hell out of Jon Moxley, and then we see backstage where they were trying to open up this door apparently, and it was just padlocked with the Blackpool Combat Club locked into that room and stuff. And then we see MJF coming out, and he was debating if he wants to go stop the attack or not, and then he just walks away, and then he comes running down, telling everybody to get off of Jon Moxley, and then tells Stokely Hathaway that he's fired. And after he said that, all of them starts beating him down. The Firm just starts beating down MJF, laying him out, and we see pretty much Ethan Page hit the Razor's Edge onto MJF, and then beat him down some more. MJF was trying to fight back, but then W. Morrissey hits a chokeslam onto him through a table, laying him out. So yeah, that's what happened there. Pretty good stuff though, like I said. But for tonight's Dynamite, I'll give it 7.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good episode. Match of the night, I will say it was FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. That match was really good. If you have yet, go check it out. The matches tonight was pretty good. My big issue is Penta just getting the world title shot, because they said, Tony Schiavone on commentary said that he earned it, which I don't know how the fuck he earns it. I love Penta, don't get me lying. I really like him and stuff, but, earning the world title shot and not going to become the more contender or whatever, it just didn't make sense. Now, Jon Moxley versus Penta, yeah, I'm okay with the match, but for it to be for the world title, no, that should have never happened. That's pretty much my main issue with it. And if it was like an open challenge, it would have been cool, like it would be good. But issue is, like, we already know that the match is going to be Jon Moxley versus MJF at Full Gear, so just, the world title getting defended beforehand, who's going to be the winner, it don't make sense, like with John Cena's open challenge for the United States Championship years ago. I really liked what they was doing with it and everything, but when he had that feud with Rusev and going to a pay-per-view against Rusev, and that Cena was going to win all his other matches beforehand, that's the only thing I had a problem with, and that's what my issue was with this world title match. So yeah, that's about it though. But yeah, that has been my AEW Dynamite reviews. Subscribe to Team W Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris. Subscribe to this channel, Chris Videos. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and both of my TikToks. I'll be down there in the description box. And I will see you guys later for this Friday Night SmackDown reviews. See you guys later. Until then.